So you would see this in a bakery display case, right? The top would solidify. Kind of like if you're making like ice sugar cookies, it's that kind of stuff. You use a royal icing or flat icing. Similar concept, how it crusts over, gets a firm top, but it stays a little bit more creamy where underneath it doesn't firm. Whereas in your royal icing and your flat icing, it kind of hardens all the way through. This will just give you a nice hardened crust on top, right, where the underneath stays nice and creamy. But you want it to be kind of melted, so about 20 seconds, so it's a little pourable. And then we're going to add a little bit of simple syrup to that. Just be careful you don't stir it too fast. You're going to get a little slosh of syrup in your face. Keep stirring to completely emulsify that simple syrup into it. Alright, so now you can see before where I could pull it up and it'll have a little bit of viscosity, but it was really thick coming down in like a thick chunk, right? And now you can see that when I do the viscosity test, if I pulled it up, a lot more pourable, right? Now, granted, this is still warm, right? This is a good consistency. It's still pretty warm to the touch, and I'll let you guys feel that. So I probably would wait for it to cool off a little bit to slightly thicken before I spread it on, because I don't want it to pour and drip everywhere. But that's a good viscosity for what we're looking for. All right, and we're gonna let that cool. But you can go ahead and prepare your fondant icing. So probably about that much, no more than about a half a cup of the vanilla. For the chocolate, you need like maybe a quarter of that, because we're just gonna pipe the lines across it, so maybe even a third of that amount. But when you make and prepare and add in your simple syrup into here, just make sure that you take a piece of plastic and just put that directly on top, because we don't want it to form a crust while we're waiting to use it. All right? So put your plastic, and then you can keep those guys off to the side so it'll be ready to go.
Could we create all the vanilla for everything and like this so it becomes the same viscosity, then separate a little bit of that and make it the chocolate?
Absolutely. And then just double check though your viscosity once you add some cocoa powder to it.